Hello and welcome back to another video on Serious About Salvage. I've gone and bought another car. It is again another Mini, and it is again another flood car. Quite enjoying doing these flood mechanical damage salvage vehicles. And this one is a Clubman, a Mini Cooper Clubman. It's quite a nice car actually. It's a 2017 on a 66 plate, and it has the exact same engine as the grey Mini we've just done. It is the 1.5 petrol 3-cylinder turbo. So let's just spin around, have a little look at what we've got. And although I 100% know this engine, or 99.9% know this engine is toast, we're going to do a few little checks just for the fun of it really, just to see exactly, well, try and figure out what's happened to it. But I think the end outcome's going to be engine out and a new engine in. So let's turn around and have a look. So there it is. I've got it on charge at the moment. It's another one of them. I'll just move that. Completely no damage. Don't know how much I can shut that. It's dirty, but there is no damage to the car at all. It's literally just had a bit of an altercation with a deep puddle and ingested some water. We'll come back to that in a second, but on the inside there is absolutely no trace of any water being in here. If they've ever got wet, you end up with condensation on the inside of the glass, you end up with mould, and there's absolutely nothing. There's nothing at all anywhere. Nothing in the back. The carpets are completely dry and clean. So the water's not been, it's not like it's been in a flood. It's just been driven through a ford or a flood a bit too fast, and water has been waved up the front, gone up the intake, through the filter and into the engine. That's what we think. And you can tell because the filter is mouldy, so that has been wet. No traces of any water left. Obviously, like we know, these engines do sit for a while. Not engines, these cars do sit for a while before they get to the point of being sold off. So everything will have dried out in terms of, I expect, in the engine. But like I said, for a bit of fun, what I plan on doing is, I don't just want to crank it just in case there is still water in there. We're gonna pop the spark plugs off. What's wrong with it? Why is it beeping? Have I not the lead off? Yeah, I've knocked the lead off. I've knocked this charging cable off it. Spare. That's strange, I don't think it's taking charge. Anyway, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to pop out the spark plugs. We're then going to crank it and just have a look, see if anything comes out. I'm sure you've seen the videos on YouTube before now, when cars have gone through floods, they put the spark plugs, crank them, and water's shooting out. Now I don't expect that to happen. Like I said, this has been sat for quite a while since. If anything, there's going to be water in the sump, but not too concerned about that right now. Like I said, I am 99.9% sure this engine is knackered anyway. But we'll do that. We'll crank it with the plugs out, see if anything comes out. We'll throw in the compression tester. We'll crank it again and just see what the compression is across the engine. It is quite helpful to know this kind of stuff because, believe it or not, these engines are worth money, even in the state that this potentially is, being knackered. And the more you can tell them about the engine, the more money you can get out of them for them. So if we know no compression on 1, 2 and 3 are fine, for instance, you tell that to these engine shops and then they make an offer for the engine, that kind of thing. So we'll do that, we'll compression test it, and if by any miracle the compression is perfect, we'll throw plugs back in it and we'll crank it and just see what happens. And then again, if by any miracle it actually starts, I'm going to first of all run off to do the lottery, and then when I get back we'll empty the oil, put some new oil in it and try and start it again. But yeah, it's not going to do it, trust me. So that's the plan. But yeah, the rest of the car, very nice. It's got nice alloys. It's not a base model by any means. I like the colour. It's showing it a bit brighter on the camera than it actually is. It's like a burnt orange, somewhere between an orange and a red, but it is a metallic. Well, like I said, the car in general, obviously it's dirty, but doesn't seem to have any damage. It's got the little side doors on the back. It's all here. It's got its little sliding parcel shelf. It's got its fake floor. I don't appear to be able to find the locking wheel nut key, so that is one thing we're going to have to deal with. It is on a 66 plate, but it is in fact a 17 car. But yeah, it's pretty clean. In terms of service history, there's one key. They have left the user manual. There's no service book, but these more modern BMW/Minis, they do store the service history on the onboard computers. Now I've had a look. I'll show you if it'll let me, just briefly. I've got a feeling that battery is completely remote detected. It's completely knackered. You just go to vehicle information, vehicle status, and then down to service requirements and service history. And there is 2 services on the computer, 2020 and 2021. Up to 31,000. I don't know what happened between 17 and 20. Maybe they just didn't have it done at the BMW Mini service centre. So we got a little bit of information about it. 68,993 miles, so we'll call it 69,000 at the end of the day. Yeah, electronic handbrake in these Clubmans. And it's a slightly different layout, but different dashboard as well. It's nice enough in here actually. It's quite a nice car. Manual gearbox. Yeah, that's all she wrote really. Turn that off. Sorry. So yeah, I'll just spend a minute now and whip these coil packs out, and then we'll give it a crank and see if anything exciting happens. Righty then, plugs are out, and I mean there is signs that there's been watering. You know, there's a bit of rust on the end of the plug. So yeah, like I said, I'm not holding much hope for this really. But what's the harm in giving it a go? So let's just crank it and see. Just see what it does really. I'm going to leave you here, just on the off chance anything does come splurting out. You'll see it. It's blistering cold today. My hands are already numb. Let's see what happens. Oh. You ready? Nope. Old remote to steering column. Pretty much convinced that engine's knackered. Anyway, we're ready. Okay, not a lot. Sounds to me like that's completely locked up and it's not letting the teeth on the starter It caught it then. Nothing. Come on, do something. No, I think that's completely locked up. Let's put it in gear and push it backwards. See if it tries to turn over the engine. I think it's completely locked up, that. Shut this door. Move you back a little bit. Yeah, that's completely locked up, that engine. Yeah. Well, there we go. At least we've got an answer. That engine's just locked up. It's seized. It's seized solid. Trying it a higher gear just for a laugh. Oh, moved. It actually moved a touch then. Just a bit. I don't think it's going to be enough to make any difference. Ah, bloody key. Yeah, that battery's ghost. Absolutely knackered. Nah, it is seized. It's locked up. Yeah, it's locked up. Well, we have an answer, don't we? The engine's seized. That could be for many a reason. Obviously, it's had water in it. But then, yeah, fair enough. So it's another job, exactly the same as the grey one now. We're going to look at getting this engine out. Plonk a complete new engine back in there. Obviously, it's not a new engine. It's going to be a second-hand engine. But it'll definitely be lower mileage than what's in it, and that's got 69 on it. I've checked already. There's plenty of engines of these available between you know 15,000 and 35,000, 40,000 miles. Plenty of engines. So that's the plan. So we'll get it on the ramp, and it's going to be the exact same process as the last car. I'm not taking the front end off. It's not necessary. The other went perfectly well. It's going to be the wheels off as normal. Split the bottom arms, drive shafts out, lower engine mount, and then up top all the airbox, battery tray, scuttle. There's a cover at the back here that you take off so that the engine, because that gets rid of all that back to there, then the engine can come straight up. And if you take this intake pipe off as well, it gives you a lot more room. And we did the other one perfectly fine, so we're going to do this one the exact same way. But first of all, I'm going to get on the old eBay now, get an engine ordered, because it takes them a couple of days to get here. And then we're not going to be having too much downtime, and in this video we're gonna get it out. But yeah, like I said, it's fun to just try and figure out what's wrong with these. But that's as far as we can go with this one. There's no point going any further. What we do know, we need to get a battery, because that's not holding any charge. Yeah, good stuff. But overall, I'm happy. This is exactly what I expected. I expected it to need an engine, so there's no surprises. And it's different. The alloys don't seem to be in too bad condition, and the tyres, there's loads on the tread. yeah, the tyres have got loads on. I've not got to the point where I've checked things like MOT or anything yet. But one thing I do need to bear in mind, can't find the locking wheel nut key, so they might have to be smashed off. Because I'm not messing waiting for a locking wheel nut key. And well, guessing the size basically. So I'll find what I've got around here and I'll smash some on them and get them off, because they need to come off first thing really, the wheels. Anyway, let's make a start getting this engine out. Right, we're on the ramp. Got the wheels off. There was a bit of a delay between that bit of footage and this, because I couldn't find the locking wheel nut key, so I had to order one, and that's taken a day. But I've just started to remove the sump plug, and I don't know if you can see that, but that is water dripping out the sump. So I thought I would just get the camera and capture this, because we don't know how much is going to come out. It's going to be interesting. Let's get you on a tripod, and I'm going to wind that plug out and just see how big of a puddle they went through. Like that there. Yeah, I'll try my best to try and capture this. I'm quite intrigued myself actually. Let's have a look. You ready? Ooh, it's starting to look like oil now a bit. There we go, it's oil now, but yeah, oh yeah, there was a decent amount of water in there. Looking nice and milky, that oil. Yeah, interesting. So whatever they drove through, definitely managed to suck up a decent amount of oil. So no wonder that thing's locked up. I mean, sucked up a decent amount of water, sorry, not oil. Silly. That's definitely pure oil now coming out. You see the oil will float on top of the water, so I mean there wasn't a great deal in there, but obviously that's gone through the engine to get to the sump. So it's, yeah, interesting. Just whilst I have got you on the camera, the other thing I noticed as well, I didn't mention this on the grey 2022 Mini, but on the back of the car, the rear arms are bent. There and there. They should be straight, they're bent there. That's due to the way that Copart lift the vehicles, unfortunately. The arms rest on there, they bounce around and they bend the arms. I mean, the other Mini was the same, so I changed on that. I mean, it's not a massive ordeal, they're easy to do, and they're what? I think they're 25 quid each brand new, so it's not a big thing, but just one thing to bear in mind buying Minis, just factor in that you're probably going to have to change the rear lower control arms on the rear, on the back. Yeah, so I'll move that over a little bit. It's nice and milky, that oil. So I'm going to drop the gearbox oil next, and then obviously we're going to proceed with everything on the underside of the car. We've got these big bolts to take out of the hub. I'm pretty sure what did I use? I used something. I'll have to figure it out. It's the exact same ones that were on the other Mini, so I made a bolt, I think, didn't I? Did I make a bolt? I don't know, I can't see it now. But yeah, we've got to take them big bolts out. Obviously, again, split the bottom ball joint, which I don't think will be quite as easy on this one. It's a little bit older. And that's to be able to get the hub away to be able to pull the drive shaft out. The drive shaft's going to be bolted on. Let's get a torch. It's a bit nippy today. Yeah, the drive shaft's going to be bolted to the engine there. That's not an issue, and then it just pops out. So yeah, I need to drop the gearbox oil. We can take the engine lower mount off, take the starter motor off, and then obviously we need to pop the slave off. Now someone did mention, that looks like it's had a new fan in it at some point. It's a lot cleaner than the rest. Someone did mention on the other one, I obviously pulled off the pipe off the slave. I had to clamp the pipe up there and I still had to bleed it. Now it makes more sense to just remove the slave out the gearbox. You're not going to lose any fluid, it's going to be completely bled up ready for when it's all back together and there'll be no messing, so that makes more sense. So yeah, I didn't really think about that, so I'll do that this time. I'll pull the slave out, and then again on this side, main bolt out the end, split the ball joint with that pinch bolt there, which yes, they are a pain. Pull the drive shaft, and then there's nothing else on the lower side. There's a engine earth strap there. Well, we must remember this time, behind this cover, there's that bolt which holds in the gearbox mount. So that gearbox mount can come out completely, make it a lot easier this time to get the engine out. But they don't take long. I'll have it out in a couple of hours. I need to get all this wiring off. Or does that stay on it? I can't remember now. Oh, it stays on it until the engine's out, doesn't it? And then it all comes off afterwards, yeah. Intake pipe. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. It's exactly the same as that grey one. So we're going to be taking this splash guard out as well, because we need to take off the aircon pump again and slide that over into this wheel arch to get it out the way over here. So there's a fair few bits to be doing on the underside. It's very difficult to try to capture this kind of stuff on camera, but I'll try and do a bit for you, try and catch a bit. Okay, finished up underneath here now. We'll have a little look around, show what I've done. Drive shaft's out, and if you look, I've still got the bottom ball joint in. I hadn't realised on the other one, if you put full lock on, for the driver's side you put full lock on right, for the passenger side put full lock on left, because the drive shafts just have a little keyway there instead of a shaft going straight down. You can get them out without taking bottom ball joint out, once obviously you've taken the bolt out the end. So that is a real good bonus, that, because like I said, I know they are a pain in the backside to get out. They always are, but yeah, both sides still in. So excellent result that. Clutch slave out, lower gearbox out, mount, lower engine mount off, usually the engine's rocking now, that's all fine. Intake pipe off this side, off the intercooler, intake pipe off the intercooler that side, that needs taking off the top, obviously, and pulling out the top. Drain the gearbox oil, I think this is fuel vapour or fuel in, one or the other. Obviously we've got the aircon pump out, this splash guard's out for that specific reason. So I think that is about it down here. The starter motor can stay on until the engine's out, 'cause I'll take it off with all the wiring and swap it straight over to the replacement. So I think that's it. Up there we've got the turbo, obviously. I'm pretty sure I did the exhaust clamp from above, because the bolt's at the top and the exhaust bolts to the engine up there, but I did that from above as well. So I think that is it. The only one thing now I'm going to do on the way down is, like I mentioned, just pull the splash guard away here and take out that bolt from the back side of the gearbox mount, so that we can get that gearbox mount out completely, and again it'll make it far easier to lift that engine out. So we're moving forwards and we're making progress, so let's get this thing down and have a quick gander at the top side. So on the top side, again same as with the previous Mini, the top side is easier, just a bit more to do. The bottom side is the more messing around, bit difficult to get to fixing the side. So airbox intake off, airbox out, intake pipe out, battery cover out, battery tray out, battery out, ECU out, lower scuttle out, and this top piece as well, this piece out. So literally we're just left with that piece. That gives us enough then to get up. Once we've got a bit more room down here, we've got that other intake pipe that's down there that goes onto the throttle body, and then we've got water radiator pipes. Oh, that's fuel in. So yeah, the bottom one was vapour out. Fuel return. I think that's about it. There'll be various plugs we need to disconnect. I know there's one to the radiator down there somewhere. There'll be one to the gearbox probably. Positive cable, that's this. That comes back onto the engine, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. Again, like I said, it's not a very difficult job, really. Just a bit time consuming. So let's continue. Right, it's that time again. We're ready to pull this engine out. Got it all secured on the hoist. We've just literally got this driver's engine mounts, and we've got the passenger gearbox mount down there, that there. So hopefully I've tried to rig it up so that it's a bit tight on that. We'll see how it goes. The engine, drops on the gearbox side just like that, because they are tucked under the chassis leg a little bit, so they have to put a bit of tilt. Let's see what happens. Do this on camera. So take the top three fixings out first. And then hopefully we can drop down the gearbox side enough to get to the fixings holding the mounts. It's another drop. I need to just jack it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's the side free. So yeah, I'm hoping now if we just lower the hoist down a touch, it'll just bring down the passenger side. That's it, that's sat on something. And fingers crossed I can get in there now. With some with a bit of power, i.e. this, and undo the gearbox mount from the chassis leg. That's good. That's one, there's 4 bolts. 2. 3. 4. Now, this is what we couldn't get out on the last one because of that bolt in the back. That gives us the clearance now. And now we need to undo. I'll move you over this side a bit. It's difficult to get in close with this bigger tripod, but we're now going on. Hold on. There we go. Driver's side engine mount. Oh, just kicked you. You're alright still. Bolts here. So this could be. That didn't work. I've been using the wrong size socket. Is that right? I'll have to tap that on now, unfortunately. Took some teeth off that bolt. It's not a problem, it's an easy bolt to get to. You can always replace it. The main thing is getting it out. You can worry about it afterwards. So that engine now is completely loose. It's a. We don't know we're on over there, aren't we? But we have got. That's completely loose now, the engine. We've got to get this actual driver's side engine mount out. I took it out the last one, so it is possible. It's just a bit tricky getting to the fixings. Got a 9. First. more tricky to get to. Need an extension. Got it. So the bit of a G40 now. Nearly. There we go. That's the driver's engine mount. Now, this engine should pretty much come straight up now. Put you there. And there's our empty engine bay. And our engine and gearbox. So, last thing I want to do today is pull this gearbox off, because I want to have a look at the clutch that's in it. Because the replacement engine's not arrived yet, but it is coming tomorrow. So I'd like, if I need a clutch, to have it here ready. So we'll do that now. We'll whip this gearbox off, have a look at that, and then I think that's going to be it for this video. That was a little bit stubborn. But yeah, basically the clutch is knackered, pressure plate's knackered, flywheel's knackered. It's obviously had some water contamination in there, it's rusty, it's disgusting. And yeah, this is completely... I did have it. Hear it. Yeah, it's knackered, simple as that. We need a release bearing as well. Gearbox itself, obviously no water will have got in the gearbox. The oil looked perfectly fine. Spline spin's perfect. That's all fine. Water's obviously been in the bell housing. See that bit of a corrosion, but it'll clean up. That'll be fine. So we're done. We're done. Glad I whipped that gearbox off now, so we can get a complete clutch kit for it. Fingers crossed for tomorrow, when the engine comes, and we can then crack on with putting it back in, can't we? Can't we? Everything else looks okay. I'm going to check the intercooler for water, make sure there's no water in that. Last thing I want to do is suck up a load of water into the new engine. We'll check that turbo as well. There's no water been sat in the turbo, so I expect it'll be fine. See if it spins. Oh yeah, it spins fine. It spins free actually. Really nice. Actuator arm's still free. I can't do it with one hand, but I've tried that already. Other than that, obviously we'll take all the wiring off it when the replacement engine arrives. Swap over everything, because it is a bare engine again that's coming. And put it all back together, and fingers crossed, it's going to be okay. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you subscribe for the follow-up. Hopefully, won't be too long, of putting this engine back in, the new engine, the replacement engine back in, and getting it running, and hopefully all goes well. So yeah, thank you very much, really appreciate it, and see you in the next one. Cheers.